What's up, guys? It's your boy Brian here, the random Knicks guy. I'm feeling pretty good. I can't even say the words. I'm so excited to say the words. I am feeling good. I am recording this on June 20th at 10:50 a.m. The night after the Milwaukee Bucks eliminated the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. And I have to take a moment to gloat because all that shit talking Nets fans were doing for the past 2 years. Oh, we're gonna have a dynasty. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have that. The Knicks are poverty. The Knicks are bums. The Knicks are this. And the Knicks are that. And you can't seal the deal. And talk about, well, we're injured. Yeah, you're injured because you got two injury-prone stars and one guy who's starting to become injury-prone. Okay, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have a long list of being injured. They were injured all last year too. What you think they were just gonna come back and be like, ugh? You didn't think they'd get injured again? They got injured again. Look at that. Who knew? Who knew injury-prone players get injury-prone? Like, they don't have a career worth of injury history. James Harden, I'll excuse because he played 82 games a season. He rarely was ever injured. But you know what? That's karma for burning down the house in Houston and then coming here and talking shit. And you talk shit, you had the James Harden cropping out the Knicks out of the New Yorker cover because he's a sensitive little bitch. You have Kevin Durant talking about, well, we're a big 15. Stealing what the Knicks did. Like, you can't create nothing for yourselves. You just take it from everything. You can't just let things ride. No Knick gave a shit about the cover of the New Yorker. First of all, the New Yorker is not even a sports magazine. It's a political magazine. But no Knick cared. No Knick cared a damn thing about what the Brooklyn Nets were doing. But the Brooklyn Nets wanted to steal every soundbite, every saying, every bit of the culture the Knicks have. The Nets just wanted to copy paste it to themselves this year. And I revel in the fact that they are failures. Don't you ever try to put Kevin Durant in a GOAT conversation in your life. He is no GOAT. He's a sheep. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to revel in the Brooklyn Nets failures because I've had it. I had to deal with year after year, day after day, them talking shit, their fans talking shit, reporters talking shit. Okay? I had to hear people say, like, Brooklyn has the better arena, Brooklyn has the better this. I've been to Barclays Center. It is not the better arena for damn sure. It's awkward as hell. This is not a good experience. I had to endure it. So I am going to gloat and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to say, ha, ha, fucking ha. And I got a little hint for you Brooklyn fans who are probably going to switch the moment Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden opt out of their contracts because they're not going to win the title next year and they're going to have infighting. They're all going to bitch and moan. They're going to opt out and they're going to go join a super team to make it easy. Hell, Kevin Durant probably goes back to Golden State, so Steph Curry has to Steph, if you're out there, you're listening, work on them back muscles because you're going to have to carry this sheep, a 7-foot sheep, all the way back to a championship. So yes, I get to gloat about the Nets because I had to endure all the bullshit. Every Knicks fan had to endure all the bullshit. We have receipts. I can pull up specific experiences, specific things I had to deal with and listen to, and it's like, it's fucking. Like, I'm tired of it. So, you wanted to talk your shit, Nets fans, Nets players, Nets reporters, Nets everything. You talk the shit, and you got the shit. Maybe if you stop talking shit, maybe karma will grant you a championship. But since you want to talk shit, I am so glad you get to eat the shit you spewed. That's enough on those assholes. this is a Knicks channel, so we're gonna focus on the Knicks. We're going into the offseason. I was doing a lot of my offseason research, and of course, Woj dropped the Woj bomb. We have our first trade of the offseason. Kemba going to OKC for Al Horford, and Boston sending a pick to OKC. I know there's debate amongst Knicks fans about taking Kemba Walker, and if a team like Boston is so desperate to get rid of him, I don't think I would take him on. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do videos. I'm gonna do videos on what we need and the players who could fulfill those roles based on what the chatter is around the league, who's a free agent, who's on the trade block, and who's in the draft. But before I get into all that, I want to address something else. The media, again, with their superstars are coming to New York spin cycle that no Knicks fan is buying, because we've seen time and time again, it doesn't happen. Okay? First, they said Luka because of what's happening in Dallas. Look, Luka Donic is a big boy, and he'll make his decision. In all likelihood, he signs his $200 million extension, and he stays there, and Mark Cuban figures out a way to right the ship enough. And do they win a championship with Luka? I don't know. That's a different story. But in terms of the immediate future, in terms of putting people in the organization around Luka Doncic that he's going to be okay with, and installing a coach he's going to be okay with, and GM and a president that he's going to be okay with, I think Mark Cuban will do that. The question is how much will Mark Cuban allow Vulgaris to run the show? And eventually either Mark Cuban wakes up and realizes Vulgaris gotta go, or Mark Cuban drives everything into the ground. If you listen to I believe it was the Low podcast, they went into depth that the Dallas Mavericks are not everything they seem to be, and that they really failed at the talent and agent relationship aspect. A lot of agents and a lot of players have bad opinions of Dallas, and we'll see how that plays out. But no, I don't believe Luka Doncic is coming to New York within the next 5 years. I don't think it's a possibility. I think he signs his extension. I think he plays in then after he makes $200 million, then he'll say, I'll come to New York. But we don't know. We'll see. I mean, it has advantages. Look, because the Knicks have enough to offer the Mavericks for Luka Doncic, I'm going to say yes. Here's what I'm going to say yes. We have 2 Dallas first rounders that they gave us for Porzingis. Thank you. We have some promising young players, and we have cap space. If Luka Doncic goes and says, I'm only going to sign the qualifying offer, and you can trade me to whatever team you want to, but I plan to not sign no extension with any other team other than the Knicks, then the Knicks have enough. You have enough to make the trade. Unless he comes out and says it doesn't happen. So I think we should just kill that noise right now. The media, the ESPN types, they're going to keep pounding on that drum. I mean, a Luka Doncic in New York City would be fantastic just off of, New York City, we get a lot of international visitors. And a lot of Europeans, and they're going to instantly come and gravitate, and I'm going to have harder time getting tickets to a Knicks game and talking to Knicks fans, because I ain't going to know the goddamn language, because I could tell you when I used to go to the Knicks games, and they stunk. Everyone in the fan seats, in the fan section, they didn't speak a lick of English. English was the foreign language in that. So a lot of Europeans come. They naturally want to go to Madison Square Garden if the Knicks are playing. Like in rush hour 2. I always want to go to Madison Square Garden, see the Knicks play. So they naturally just come. They're gonna come even once tourism really starts revving up again. They're gonna buy tickets to Knicks games, and the Knicks being good is even gonna be more worth their while. And they're gonna, and Luka Doncic, I'm pretty sure when the Dallas Mavericks play the New York Knicks, there's an increase in price, because not only do basketball fans in the area want to see this guy, but the Europeans visiting New York will want to get tickets as well. So I can't say like he shouldn't consider it. But the point is that the Mavericks ain't gonna let it happen. I'd be extremely surprised. It really would have to really blow up to the point where Doncic is just like, get me the hell out of here. It really has to go to that extent. And I don't think it will. But so if you're a Knicks fan and you're thinking we can have Luka anytime soon, I want to kill that dream. It ain't happening. Now I want to get to the real meat and potatoes of the dream I want to kill. And that's Zion Williamson. Look, the Pelicans are going to hire a third head coach for Zion Williamson. Suppose all this talent that they have continues to not even get them sniffing the playoffs. I was watching First Take, and thank God Max Clownerman was not on the show. It was our boy Alan Hahn. And he pointed to, this is why I say the NBA is fucking rigged, and it's fucking predetermined who gets what. And you know, Adam Silver and David Stern were corrupt pieces of shit, and that the FBI should launch a full investigation of the NBA because Alan Hahn laid it out on First Take. Because now there's a pattern. The moment Chris Paul demands a trade and goes to the Clippers, the Pelicans get the number 1 pick and they get Anthony Davis. The moment Anthony Davis demands a trade to the Lakers, the Pelicans get a number 1 pick and get Zion Williamson. This whole thing with the New Orleans Pelicans is the NBA trying so hard to keep their franchise in that city. At some point, it's not going to continue to work. It's just not. And it's fucking bullshit that the rest of the league pays for those transgressions. We shouldn't be paying for the New Orleans Pelicans' ineptitude to do anything. You know, listen, everyone has the same salary cap. There's revenue sharing. There's no excuse that you can't build a competent team. You don't have a competent owner. The owner just hired an incompetent GM in David Griffin, who everybody thought, oh, David Griffin deserves Zion. Look at you, George Sedano, and your overpriced spray tan and your greasy hair gel and your, fucking punchable face. Right? And the truth is, David Griffin is not a good GM. And when everyone says LeBron is a shadow GM for his teams, yeah, he should be, because we're clearly seeing that David Griffin doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to build a team around anything. And I wouldn't be surprised in a year or two, David Griffin is going to be fired. Because you had Alvin Gentry, you fired him. You Stan Van Gundy, you fired him. Whoever you hire now, if they don't make the playoffs, you're going to fire them. You know? And all that talk. I remember this talk because they applied to the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks have had their 4th coach in 2 years. And, look. You can't keep firing coaches. But at the same time, you can't keep a bad coach when they're simply a bad coach. And you can't keep a coach that the locker room doesn't respect. So, this is not to say Stan Van Gundy is a bad coach. He's a very good coach. He's had his fair share of accomplishments. I just think that today's players probably just don't respond well to that coach. Or he's probably a coach for a team of veterans who are looking to compete and win a championship. Like, if you put Stan Van Gundy on a Golden State, if you believe Steve Kerr, if you put him on a Portland to an extent, if you put him, if you put him on a team that's going to buy into him and listen to him, he's going to take you pretty far. He probably won't get you a championship because we saw him. But, here's the thing. He's a good coach. I just think there's also got to be a fit. And he probably just doesn't fit with today's players. Or at least definitely the players in the NBA. So you give the next person you think you can the job and you see what they do. Right? My hope is that one of these teams are gonna hire a female head coach. I'm interested to see what Becky Hammon goes. I used to follow her a lot, back in the pre-social media days when she was a New York Liberty. Um, I remember she used to play for the Liberty, and she was one of their best players, and she was fun to watch. And I'm hoping for the best for Becky. So we'll see what happens. But no, the Pelicans are not going to trade Zion. They have as much team control over him as the Knicks do have over RJ Barrett. Zion can demand the trade, and he can do the same. It's going to take someone to say to their team, I want out of this place. I'm only going to sign the qualifying offer, and you can trade me to whoever you want, but I ain't going to extend with them long term. I only want one place to go, and that's what it would take. And I don't think any player is going to come out and say that. I don't think the Knicks are in the position to have shown they have earned that. I think the Knicks still need to continue to build, and it's going to have to be one puzzle piece at a time, and then maybe that centerpiece will eventually emerge. I do not think Julius Randle is a centerpiece. I do think he's a major piece. Same thing with RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, I would think, couldn't become more of a centerpiece than he would be a major piece. So that's who I'm hoping for becomes our centerpiece. But we will see. We'll see what the Knicks do this offseason. Their biggest thing is just to improve talent-wise. I mean, pure talent is what they need. Point guard is a glaring positional need. I believe I was listening to the Knicks Film School podcast, and they said, what worries you that if the Knicks get a great, playmaking point guard, does that hurt Julius Randle? Because this year Julius Randle was our primary playmaker and offensive initiator, and that is a concern that Julius Randle could take a step back. Being that you get a point guard, but I would add to that, if that point guard elevates everyone's play to where they're, better versions of themselves, that it's worth, again, the sum is greater than its parts. It's worth Julius Randle taking a slight step back in playmaking, right? And having RJ Barrett then average 20 points, and having the other wing average 15 to 18 points, having Mitchell Robinson average 10 to 15 points, and the point guard average 10 to 15 points, then you'd say that's better. Even if Julius Randle goes from averaging 25 points to 22 points, right? Because everyone's level of play has elevated around Julius Randle. He has less of a workload to deal with. So, that's what I'm going to explore next. I'm going to do videos on who the Knicks what they can do at the point guard position, free agency, drafting, trading, and we'll see. It's a bright future for the Knicks, and I just wanted to come on here and kill the noise before the narrative runs out of control that the Knicks want Zion, the Knicks want to do. No. The Knicks are not focusing on that. If I were to tell you what they're focusing on, it ain't that. Because realistically, there's just nothing that they can do. Listen, Leon Rose could probably make a phone call. But once Leon Rose hears that, listen, we're not trading him, he hangs up and he moves on with his life. And that's the one thing I like about Leon Rose and this front office is that, look, they'll explore every option. But once they know an option is off the table, they're prepared to come with option B, C, D, all the way through Z. And that's a good mark of an organization that's doing the right thing. And that's why they're the organization that's not on fire. That's not on fire right now. Because they know they have plans in place. They know what they're doing. And they are planning not just their next move, their next 10 moves. And hopefully that'll lead to building a contender in the next 3 to 4 years. I say 3 to 4 years because, honestly, I'm not ready to put the window open while Brooklyn is still assembled. Hopefully next year Brooklyn collapses again. KD, Kyrie, and James all start to hate each other. And then they all go run and form super teams in the West to go fight each other. Best case scenario. Then the Knicks can start opening that window, at least in the East. So, but that's it for this video. Do the YouTube stuff, subscribe, like, let me know in the comments what you think the Knicks should do in the offseason. And I will catch you next time, guys. Bye.